So let's just take a little bit of time running through the Ubuntu system to get a good idea of how networking is working on the 14.04 device. If I go through and take a look at my etc/resolv.conf, and we've got the setting that we're getting with the defaults, and this is being provided through to the local DNS mask service. If we want to change this so that it's pointing through to our bind service, then of course we could edit this file, but it's going to get overwritten each time the networking or the network manager starts. So the first thing is just to prove that this is being managed through the network manager. We can use nmcli and then just C for connection. And we can see there we've got the connection with the name wired connection 1 and its unique identifier. If we don't want it to be managed through nmcli, what we can go and do is add an entry into the configuration file. So I'm going to go through and look at 5/etc/network and then interfaces. So you see we've got an entry already for our local interface. That's not being managed by the network manager. We use capital G and then O, we're inserting a new line. I'm just going to put a space to separate these stanzas. We're going to put then auto ETH0. I could put this all with the auto LO interface. They're not part of the interface standard. So we could have auto LO and ETH0. I prefer to just keep them all separated out. And now we're going to start a stanza, a group of commands then for our interface. We're going to set up the interface name, and we're saying then it's iNet version 4. And we're then going to go through and specify the method that we're going to use for this, so DHCP. So even though if we're looking at DNS, we're probably going to be using static addresses, we can still use DHCP. When we go through here, I'm just spacing it. It doesn't need to be, but it's easier read this way. I'm going to put the entry in then for my name server. So we can go through and put then our DNS and name servers. And I can specify then the list. So we've got 127.0.0.1. Now when we go through and take a look at the result of this, if I go through and escape and save, we can go through and restart our network. And now when we look at the nmcli and look at our connections, we can see then that we're no longer managing our connection. When we go through and look at the cat, well, this is now empty. We need to start the interface. So with this, we can use, let's clear out, and then if down ETH0. We see, well, that's fine, that's already down, and then use if up. When we go back now and look at the cat command, the unfortunate thing that we've got now that we can see, even though we've configured the IP address of the DNS server, we're still getting the one that comes from DHCP, so it's difficult to overwrite that. So I'm going to go back and change the configuration. So when we go back, I'm just going to delete this here. If I want it to be the first connection, what I can do is echo. So we put the information exactly the same way that we would have it within our resolv conf, and we're going to send it through to /etc/resolv conf resolv-conf.d and head. This is then going to make sure that this goes in above everything else. When we go back now and look at bringing our interface down and bringing the interface back up again, clearing the information out and then running through with our cat command, we can see that we've successfully been able to control the order of that entry. So let's move back to the slides for a little while so we can take a look at our tools that we can use to resolve names.